sing for your supper. It's my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday to you. We'll do the rest later.
We'll do the rest later.
Yes.
So our theme today is all of my favorite things.
And it's not 1776.
It's not 1776. Well, it's a few of my favorite things. So we're going to talk about a couple of my favorite shows, and we're going to do 2 dishes that I really like.
Yes, and it's kind of like Oprah. You know, she has those episodes where it's all of her favorite things. So you're
we're
Oprah
not
today.
But we're not sending all of my favorite things to you.
It's all for us.
It's all for us.
Sorry,
That's
people.
right.
Sorry.
But we're glad you're with us to celebrate.
I know.
All you, there's so many October birthdays.
Yes. Not quite as many as September,
really?
but a lot.
Lot
September
in October.
has the most, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's because it was a cold winter.
That's usually what they say. Everyone's home for the holidays, feeling romantic. Now, what day is your actual?
My actual birthday is October the 7th.
Okay. Well,
My grandmother's birthday was October the 6th, and she prayed that I would be born on her birthday, but I was born right after midnight, I think. So I just missed it.
That's funny. I was born on my grandmother's birthday.
Oh,
I guess she prayed a little harder.
I guess so. I guess so.
Yes.
So what are we doing? What are you doing for my birthday?
Oh my gosh, Kevin's favorite cake is a German chocolate. And as I told him this before we started filming, you know how much I love Kevin Bogan? I made this cake from scratch. And
it's so great because it's just a snap.
It's just so easy.
Yes.
But you know, when you put that extra ingredient of love in, it tastes a little bit better. So
right.
I want to jump in because there are a lot of steps. I'm going to jump in with the German chocolate frosting.
Are you interested to know what I'm going to be making, or is it all about you today, even though it's my birthday?
Right. What are you making, Kevin? Please. What goes well with German chocolate?
I'm doing steakhouse filet, which is going to be wonderful. We're going to start it in the cast iron skillet, and we're going to move it over to the oven. And there's a little piece of magic that goes into it.
Magic.
Yeah.
Love in the cake, magic in the steak.
Yeah, so
I like it.
Perfect.
We should have done Pippin because there's magic to do.
Well, that's one of my least favorites, though.
Of course it is.
Yes. Okay. So let's tell them what my 2 favorite musicals are, and then we'll start with the cake.
All right. Well, I think you should tell them.
My first.
What is like your favorite? If you had to pick between these two.
If I had to pick between the 2, it would be Grand Hotel.
No surprise for most people.
Yes, I waited 30 years to direct that, so it was a dream come true every night that I got to see it.
Did you see it in New York?
I did see it with the original cast. Yes, in 1990.
Yes, because it opened in '89.
That's right.
Ran for over 1,000 performances.
Yes.
And a little guy named, not a little, tall, 6'6", Tommy Toon directed it, choreographed it, and won some Tonys for that too.
Yes, he did. And then my second favorite is one that's more recent, The Light in Piazza. Oh, just love it. Now the key to my heart for musicals is you have to have it's got to have good music.
Well, yes,
if it doesn't have good music, then I'm totally out from the beginning.
But I would say for those 2 shows and that you like more of the grand, almost operatic at times.
Yes.
Feel to a score, very lush. Those 2 shows fit right in with that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just like your cake fits in. It's so lush.
It's lush and beautiful and
so
complicated.
Get it started on my favorite part of the German chocolate. This is the reason that you make a German chocolate cake. So tell us about it.
And of course, most people know it has coconut and pecans. The coconut is very divisive. People love it, people hate it.
Pecans too.
I don't understand people who don't love pecans, but okay. All right, let's jump right in with the frosting because you have to cook it on the stove. And I have my little cheat notes here. And one of the things I want to show is how to temper eggs. So the first thing we're going to do is get our flame going.
It's tough when you have temperamental eggs, isn't it?
It is. They like to cook. Eggs are funny that way.
So
we're starting, and all these recipes, of course, will be on the website tomorrow. Starting with, this is half the recipe. Half a cup of evaporated milk. And I'm going to grab me a spatula. Okay. And a half a stick of butter.
Can't beat that.
You can't beat that. And we're going to cook this and let it warm up. And then what we're going to do, once it's warm, is add some of this liquid to the egg yolks. There's 3 egg yolks in here. This cake's kind of rich, Kevin. I don't know if you knew that. So this is going to cook and melt. I think while this is going on, you should talk about some of the trivia from the shows because this is going to take a minute.
Well, let's talk about Grand Hotel first.
Okay.
What's interesting about Grand Hotel is that it had 2 musical teams. Did you know that?
I did in my research.
And why? Do you know why that is?
Well, what I heard was that Tommy Tune wanted to bring in Maury Yeston for some additional songs. I was like, oh, additional songs. He
Yes.
wrote 6.
Yes.
That's probably more than half the score.
score.
I'm guessing.
Yes, exactly.
So, and they finally, the original team
Yes.
said okay.
And the interesting thing is, if you go to buy the vocal selections from that show, it comes out in 2 different books. It has the Maury Yeston ones and the other one.
We
So
couldn't all play in the same sandbox.
We couldn't all play in the same sandbox.
That's too bad.
And that's also why the CD for the show took so long to come out, because they had all these arguments about the rights and that sort of thing. The thing I love most about Grand Hotel and a lot and like the Piazza to some extent is that they're continuous shows. I mean, they just move continuously. There's no like blackouts and a set change and we're someplace else. It just flows through the whole thing, and I love shows like that, where you, as an audience member, you're not sitting waiting for something to happen. So.
And yes, to that point, Tommy Tune did Grand Hotel without an intermission.
Right.
And he said, I want it to be just like the movie, bustling hotel, always something happening, no break whatsoever.
Yes.
So you saw that. Was it
I did.
2 hours is a long time to sit?
It was actually about 95 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
It moved really quickly. But the nice thing about Tommy Tune's production is that there was a pre-show that started about 20 minutes before the show, and by the time the show started, that hotel was like fantastic.
It's like people showing up
Yeah.
to work and
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
a
it's
great idea.
great.
He kind of knows what he's
He
doing.
does.
Yeah.
How's the butter coming along?
I think we can temper.
Okay, we're gonna temper now.
We're going to watch your temper. The reason you do this, as I found out the first time I made this icing, is that if you don't temper your egg yolks, when you put them in and your liquid is very hot, you're going to get scrambled eggs. And you don't want that on top of a cake,
No,
unless you're Dr. Seuss or something.
not for your birthday.
So we're just going to take some of this now warmed liquid and put it in here. You do this when you're making ice cream from scratch too, if anybody's ever done that. Because same thing, you put the eggs in so it's nice and rich. Now we're just going to stir that up. Now it's evening out the temperature and it's getting those eggs warmed up, but it's not cooking them. It's kind of like magic, Kevin.
It is magic.
Okay. Now that that's done, we can just put this right back in. Okay. And the next thing we're going to add is brown sugar.
Yum.
Oh yeah. And, oh, could you hand me the vanilla, please? It's over by the cake stuff. If you can see that, I'm going to break up that brown sugar.
I thought it was bourbon, but it's fun.
No, you know.
It's vanilla.
A little bit of vanilla. The rest is going in my cake. Can you see that? Oh, it's such a pretty color too. It gets, really, it's kind of like making caramel.
Yes.
Brown sugar, the butter, the evaporated milk.
It's the reason for the cake.
Yes, I'm just gonna. So this has to boil for 10 minutes. So while this is going on, that's not too much fun to watch me stir. I'm gonna throw it over to Kevin and his steak.
We're going to the steak. I think the filet is the steak of steaks.
Is it the fillet of steaks?
No, it's the steak of steaks.
Oh, okay.
And I love it because it's just kind of melts in your mouth. It's so tender. And the way this is prepared, you don't even need a knife. We'll use a knife to cut it, but you really don't need a knife. So this is a steakhouse steak recipe, and what we're going to do is we're going to start with it on the stove in the cast iron pan, which I've got preheating. So it'll be warm and ready to do this.
Is that pretty important? That
It is
your
very
pan
important.
is nice
Yes,
and hot?
because we want to hear a sizzle when we put the steak
Okay.
in. So we're going to take the steak and we're going to dry it off. We want it to be very dry because we're going to add some olive oil and then salt and pepper, and that's all the seasoning that we use for this. So it's really easy. So we get that.
You really want the steak to shine.
We want, yeah, it's time for the steak to shine. Okay, so we're going to take some olive oil and we're going to lightly brush it on all sides, even the side here. We don't want any paper towel in that.
No. Oh, that's pretty.
And then,
This would also not be a $10 meal. Would it?
no, we're not on
No,
the
this
tip.
is the
We're not
splurge
doing
happy birthday meal.
exactly.
Yes.
All right, so I have cracked pepper here and kosher salt. And this is fresh ground pepper because that brings, I think the pepper has a better flavor. Then you don't want to
Fresh.
just pour some salt and pepper out from your.
Fresh.
Yeah, so we're just going to dip this in, wipe it off just a little bit. You don't want too much pepper on it because, again, you don't want the seasoning to take away from your steak experience. So we do that on both sides and then all the way around. So there's seasoning all the way around the steak, which is very important because we're going to put this in the cast iron pan and we're going to brown all the sides. All right, so you see it's all done on all the sides. I'm going to wash my hands and we're going to come around to the, oh, look at that close up.
Oh.
We're trying new technology today.
Give a shout out to our camera.
If you like the close-ups, let us know.
Yeah.
And if you'd like to be a
It's called the
sponsor,
food.
be a sponsor for microphones and that sort of thing, we wouldn't say no.
We're still looking for our sponsorship and our staff.
Come around to this side, Madam Camera Woman. So we're going to take this. Come close so we can hear
We're
this.
going to hear the sizzle.
We want to hear the sizzle. That's exactly what you want to hear. We're going to do 2 minutes on each side.
While you're here, I just want to show that this is getting thick and bubbly.
Oh, that's lovely.
And isn't that pretty? And we're going to let it boil for 10 minutes, and then we throw in the chopped pecans, which are toasted, of course.
Right.
Just like fresh pepper. Nuts are always better when they're toasted. And the coconut. So,
Can I stir that for you while you start the cake? Because I'm going to be over here at the oven, or at the range anyway.
sure.
Okay, so I'm going to,
Sure.
we're going to do 2 minutes on every side, and then 2 minutes on the outside as well. So it takes 12 minutes to do mine. So
Oh,
12 and 10, see,
wow.
perfect. We work
Kevin's
this out.
favorite things take a lot of time, but it's
They do.
worth it.
It's worth it.
Okay, well, let's talk about, well, I need my cheat sheet again. I've got my timer, so
Okay.
I'll let you know. German chocolate cake. I have started with the butter and the sugar and already creamed it because I like to cream it for a couple minutes, so that just took time. So we've got that already going. And the next thing we're going to do is add in 1 egg yolk. There's 2 egg yolks in here. Again, this is a half of a mixture. And we're going to let that blend in. And then you add in,
There's our clock going off.
always, always,
What did you say the timer was?
it's on my phone.
Oh, okay.
I'll let you know. Okay. Got this in here.
You want to get a shot of the steak going, being turned? That's exactly what you want it to look
Oh,
like.
that looks beautiful.
And we're doing the other side now. Again, a little
Little sizzle.
Little
We
sizzle.
like a little sizzle.
birthday sizzle.
We're going to work in our dry ingredients, which is flour, salt, and baking soda. You know, one thing, I love your production of Granny Michelle, and that was the first time I had seen it. And I thought it was so fun and interesting and heartbreaking. I'm just going to say it, Brian Larios freaks me out in that show. Creepy.
Brian Laron freaks me out in real life.
Oh, that's true. Typecasting, right? Yeah. There goes the other egg yolk, and here goes the rest of the buttermilk.
The production we had at the barn was so great because everybody was so invested in it. We did, called it Brand New Girl School. And I gave them notebooks and they had assignments every night that they had to do.
Like what?
What they had to do, character study, and then the first day of rehearsal, they all had to bring something that was happening in the time period. So we kind of knew what was going on around us as we came into that time period.
Very cool. I bet they got into that.
They did.
Okay, I've got the dry ingredients, the egg yolk, buttermilk. This is semi-sweet chocolate and some water, melted and then cooled to room temperature. I'm going to throw that in.
Did you say you put water in the chocolate?
Yes, I've never done that before in
I've
all
never
my
heard of
years, but they said, I just figured the cake needed a little more moisture.
Maybe so.
Anyway, who am I to question the internet?
Exactly.
But I wanted to say, the thing I remember, and I remember seeing the Tony Awards as a kid, and I bet a lot of theater
As a
people.
kid, you were kind of an older kid in 1990.
I'm that old.
Okay. Continue on. I didn't interrupt.
Anyway, I remember Michael Jeter
Yes.
and the number that they did and his dancing, and I mean, he just blew me away. And then he won the Tony, and the speech he gave. If you haven't seen it, YouTube it, because he talks about overcoming addiction and, you know, sticking with it, and really his dreams coming true. And it was a beautiful, magical, one of those theater moments. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. So it was pretty wonderful. Okay, here is the batter.
Yum.
And it looks light and fluffy, but you know what? We're going to make it a little lighter and a little fluffier. How, you ask? Well, we put in egg yolks, right? So now we got to find those egg whites. And so with this recipe, and actually all the recipes I've seen for German chocolate cake, excuse me, you beat your egg whites, and you're going to fold it into your batter. This is really going to make it light and fluffy. So this is not a dense cake. And folding, of course, you just keep folding over your batter. See that? Like that. You don't want to overmix it, because what these egg whites you're doing are adding air and a little bit of moisture to your cake. So if you beat it too much, you'd be taking out all of that air. So you just want to keep folding it in until it's all incorporated.
When you get that folded in, come back and work on your icing, because I got to do something with the steak here.
Okay, well I can take a break here. Let's step over to the icing for a moment. I'm going to rinse off my hands. I bet that's getting close, right?
It's got to be getting close.
Okay.
All right, so if we want to look at our steak.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that. It's beautiful. Oh, it's perfect.
All right, so we're going to turn the range off, and we're going to add 1 tablespoon of butter.
Only one?
Only 1. We're going to put it right on top.
Okay.
And then we're going to put this into a preheated oven.
You keep buttering.
Okay. I'm going to put it, I'm coming right over to the oven, Barbara.
All right. I will step over here. It's almost as good as our choreography.
It almost
Beginning of
is.
the show.
So we're going to stick this in the oven at 400 degrees until the internal temperature, if you want it rare, it's 135. I like mine medium, so we're going to go to about 140, 145. We've got our little thermometer here. We're ready to test it when it's done. We'll leave that in there. And I'm going to put in some asparagus. Let me tell you what I did with this asparagus.
That would be one of my favorite things too. Man, I love asparagus.
So we have asparagus tips here, and what I've done is I've sprinkled it with some olive oil and salt and pepper, and we're just going to roast this for 10 minutes, and that will be part of our meal as well.
We really like letting the ingredients of the steak and the asparagus just shine through.
Yeah, absolutely.
This looks really good to me.
Excellent.
It's got the right color. It's been boiling. Let's see. So the next thing is we're going to throw in our chopped pecans and our coconut.
Yum!
Yes!
It's getting better all the time.
It's getting better. And what you have to do with this is incorporate your pecans and coconut. Doesn't that look beautiful? Just jump in there and swim around.
Oh, that looks great.
The thing with this, so you cook it and then you have to cool it for at least 30 minutes. It's going to thicken up a bit, and you know, the sugar and the eggs and all that gets really hot after you boil it that long, so you've got to get it ample time to cool down. So we're just going to let this sit for 30 minutes and cool off. And I'll have a finished product to show you. Now we need to talk about your other show.
That's what I was going to say.
Oh, the other thing I wanted to say about Grand Hotel and the original cast was you saw Jane Krakowski.
I did.
Who's still doing, you know, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and just doing, there's our timer.
Well, she just did Broadway.
She probably was a kid when she did that.
She just did She Loves Me, the revival.
Yeah, She Loves Me.
Fantastic.
She's been in a lot of Broadway stuff and
Yeah.
movies and TV, and she's just great. So
She's great.
had a lot of really talented people in that cast.
It was really a great show. So Light in the Piazza. Beautiful show. If you've never seen it, I think it's on YouTube, so you can see it on YouTube. It opened in May, I believe.
I believe it opened in...
officially opened in May.
April 5th.
Yeah, I think it was the first preview. But when I saw it, it had just been nominated for Best Musical for Tony Awards. I didn't know anything about it. I'd heard a little bit about it. Walked in, sat down, the music started, and that score. You've heard the score, haven't you?
I've heard, yes, I have heard the score.
The score is beautiful.
I've never seen the show.
Oh, really?
It's a hard one to do.
Yeah.
I mean, the voices you need. And
the voices and the orchestration is so hard.
I don't know as anybody's...
They've done it once in Kansas City.
Once in Kansas City. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to...
It is kind of hard to do. So I don't think it's one I'd want to tackle, but it's beautiful to see.
And who wrote the music and the lyrics? Somebody who has good genealogy.
Adam Gettle.
Adam Gettle. And his grandpapa?
Oscar Hammerstein.
Close.
Rogers. Richard Rogers. I knew it was one or the other.
Yeah.
I knew if I said one, it would be the other.
Richard Rogers is Adam Gettle's grandson.
Right.
And
so Adam Gettle is the grandson of Richard Rogers.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Got that mixed up. And Craig Lucas wrote the book. It was up for 11 Tonys.
And what show was it up against that won Best Musical that year? Do you know?
I happen to know that.
Oh, good.
I've done that show.
You have?
Yeah.
What show is that?
It was called Spamalot.
It was called.
But you know, that was one of those great moments where you were actually waiting to see who's going to win, because Light in the Piazza won score and orchestra. Kind of went all the tech stuff too, the set and the costumes and the lights and the score and orchestrations. Spamalot ended up taking, I think, probably Best Director and Best Show. And the two featured actresses were up for that. Kelly O'Hara, who was the daughter in Light in the Piazza, and Sarah Ramirez from Spamalot, and she ended up winning. Sarah Ramirez won. But I think that Kelly O'Hara was robbed, but that's just my personal opinion. It's so hard. That's why these awards are crazy. Now, Victoria Clark won. She did. Who played the mother. She did. Yes. Now, here's an interesting story about Victoria Clark. Victoria Clark is a United Methodist, which I am as well, and every Christmas she takes off the month of December to direct the children's Christmas pageant at her church. Love that. Every year. Victoria, if you're watching, yes. Sometimes she watches. Go polish your Tony and then just to pat yourself on the back. Exactly. That's wonderful. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to get the cakes in. So, 2 pans. They suggest parchment paper. So that's been cut. You spray a little pan on the bottom and put your parchment on top. Then it all comes out easily, and you just peel that parchment off. I'm not sure this is going to fill up both of these pans, so we're just going to see, because I have the recipe. So we're going to make one big cake for this. That's so pretty. Okay. That is pretty. Look how light brown it is. It is light brown. I think it's because of those egg yolks and maybe because of that water in the chocolate. Like water for chocolate. Did you use German chocolate? It's semi-sweet. It was Baker's. So it's a semi-sweet chocolate cake and not a German chocolate cake? Is German chocolate a specific blend of the type of sweetness? But you know, you can get all kinds of great chocolates and stuff now. They have a big candy department at Hy-Vee now. And they have German chocolates. Hy-Vee, are you listening? We need a sponsor. That's right, we need a sponsor. Yeah. We've done Aldi, we've done Hy-Vee. Come on, somebody's got to come. Somebody can do it. Yeah. Ooh, there's a little. Exactly. Okay. There we go. Yeah, isn't that beautiful? And bake it at 350 for about, I want to say 30 to 35 minutes. It'll be on the website on tomorrow. Yeah. Let's talk about frosting the cake, because we're not going to do that today. Okay, no, because this is still cooling, but I wanted to show it is thickening up. Look at that. And that's that is so good. Sweet mystery of life. Hand me a spoon out of there if you would. Oh, you need to try it? Well, it's my birthday. Quality control. I want to make sure it's exactly right. Make sure it's all right. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It's really, the cake is just a vehicle to get this into your mouth. That is so true. My other favorite cake, this is my very favorite, but my other favorite cake is carrot cake. For the same reasons. That frosting on a carrot cake. Frosting. Well, how are we on let's show.
Well, we've still got to finish our.
You gotta finish the steak.
And we're gonna. Surely you're not gonna leave us with a cake like that, are you?
No. Well, I said you bake it at 350.
Yeah, but.
Well, when we're ready to bring everything together, I have a little something to
You
show
have a little
you.
something to show me. Just a
little
little.
something.
Let me check our asparagus and see where we are with asparagus.
Okay. Ooh.
Oh, we're good.
That steak is sizzling.
All
Now,
right.
do you have one of those instant thermometers? Yes, those. If you're
Yes.
gonna cook steak,
Yeah. Let's go ahead and check the
you
temperature
need
on the
these.
steak.
And talk about a steak resting.
I'm going to after I get the. You're one step ahead of me
I'm
today.
stepping out.
Let's put it in here and see where we are. Oh, maybe I should turn it on. On. There we go. We're about 120. Oh, a little more. So it needs a few more minutes
Okay.
to get it rare. All right, so I'm going to take out my asparagus. Look how, now see how much greener it becomes when you roast it? So
Oh,
that's
so pretty.
the way to do it. All right,
Almost all the veggies now. I love to roast.
so we're going to plate this. Oh, let's talk about resting too.
Let's talk about roasting.
When we took this out, you saw that I had aluminum foil on it. We put aluminum foil on it, let it rest for 10 minutes under the aluminum foil because that brings the juices back into the steak.
Okay, but it keeps cooking, doesn't it?
It does keep cooking.
So your temperature is going to go up. How many degrees would you say?
5 to 10, I would say.
Okay, so if you want it medium, you want to pull it out probably when it's at rare
Yeah.
because it's going to continue to cook. And if you take it out at medium, you're going to end up with a more well steak. And who wants that?
Who wants that?
Some people do, but not me.
And this is how I plate. And I also made. I
This
know
looks
blue
like something you'd get at a really fancy restaurant.
We're going to make it look even fancier. This is a little blue cheese sauce. I know you're not a fan of blue cheese,
I'm not, but it's
but
pretty.
I think you'll like it.
It's very pretty. What else is in there?
It's heavy cream, a cup and a half of heavy cream. It's it's my birthday,
I know it is.
and it's 2 ounces of Roquefort cheese, which is a milder blue cheese. So that's why I
Right, so
think
I
that you
think
might
I'm going
like
to give
it.
this a whirl.
Salt and pepper,
Salt and pepper.
and that's
I was about to
it.
say that.
That's it.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yep.
I don't eat steak very often, I'll be honest.
I don't either. I
but
don't
when
either.
I do, I want a good piece.
We
Filet.
want a good piece.
You do want a good piece.
Yeah.
And you want to know how to cook it right because it's expensive.
It is expensive.
And if you overcook it or something goes wrong, that's a lot of money. So it's good to know,
Exactly.
watching Kevin cook it is great. Go to YouTube. Before you actually try to cook a steak,
Yeah.
make sure you
Yeah.
get it right.
The other thing you can do with this steak, and we didn't today because we're inside, is you can do the prep in the iron skillet, and then you could take it and put it on the barbecue grill and smoke it.
grill.
Yes, finish it up
Okay.
on the grill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's time to bring over your birthday cake.
Is it time?
It's time.
It's time. There it is.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kevin. Happy birthday
Oh, that's
to you.
beautiful.
Should have brought a candle, but we don't want to. We don't want to blow on anything.
That's right. That's right.
I like naked sides. It's a little secret I'm letting you in on. I like naked sides.
I like it.
And one you could let it kind of drizzle down if you wanted, which would be really pretty too. But either way,
Or you could put some frosting in a dipping sauce.
you could. I've seen
On the
people
side.
take more chocolate and
Uh-huh.
drizzle it on the side, and that looks like give it little legs.
It's beautiful.
It's really pretty.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think it was worth all the work.
I definitely think it was.
Yeah.
Of course.
So, there you have birthday.
Birthday boy
My
Hogan.
favorite musicals and some of my favorite food.
Yeah.
So thank you for celebrating with me.
Oh,
Today. Look forward to it.
yeah.
So we hope we'll see you in 2 weeks when we do our next episode. We haven't decided yet what we're doing.
Haven't. It's the world is our oyster, but
That's
it will
right.
not be oysters.
No, we won't do oysters. But thank you for joining us.
Thanks.
And
We'll see you next time.
take care. Bye bye.